So there's this thing called love bombing, right? And I'm gonna talk about it because this is something I've done myself, okay? And so actually give me a second. I'm gonna start cooking some stuff real quick. So the reason I bring this up is because in my own personal life, I am seeing more and more people with that tendency come towards me and interact with me. They want to talk to me. They want to engage with me. They got all these questions and stuff, which is fine. The thing is that because I've done it before and now I've weaned away from actually actively, acting on the urge to do that, I know that it's possible to change up a little bit. I know that it's possible to actually better yourself. I know that it's possible. It might take some time. It's slow, I'm not gonna lie, but it's possible. And so what I'm here to say is, if you actually take a Google search at, love bombing, look at the term love bombing and then see what patterns of behaviors are often associated with that. Some of you already know. I'm not going to put any labels to this one right now. What I'm here to say is, some of you already know that the kind of person that love bombs already has a shit reputation. And what I mean by that is, look at the internet, look at Reddit, look at all the web pages. The kind of person that's doing this, for all intents and purposes, people see you as broken, too much, fucked up. As somebody who's done it myself, and as somebody who's bettering themselves, I know for a fact it might take time that one can change for the better, right? So in other words, what I'm here to say is, I know that there is hope. And knowing that there's hope, whenever I detect that somebody is doing that towards me, in the past, I would have just blocked them. But for the first time, I'm actually not doing that. Rather than doing that, if anything, I'm actually interacting with that person, that individual, from a place of wanting to actually help. Because in me knowing that actually wanting to change and actually doing the things that lead to a change, it's possible. It might take some time. It might not be a perfect thing. It might not be as good as somebody who was raised in better circumstances. It's just that, to live in a world where basically everybody else sees you as like this demonic force or something. I'm here to say, look, I know how much of an influence certain people have had in my life. Those that believed in me, regardless of whatever the hell I was doing. And if it wasn't for certain people like that in my life, giving me like a shot, and then in me also in turn, not just them giving me a shot, but me actually, doing my part, right? I don't know where I'd be. That's the truth. So with that being said, I'm gonna go into the problematic part about the love bombing. Why it sticks out so hard. When I've done it myself, okay, when I've love bombed, what has happened is that I have a made up person in my head. I have this fantastical person that can do no wrong version of them in my head. Not only is that was happening live plenty of times throughout my life with different, in this instance, women. The thoughts would happen, right? But along with the thoughts would be the emotional aspect. And what I mean emotional aspect is that, let's say that I was having a pretty good day. I was nice and calm. And then all of a sudden, I see this one person that's like making me feel these things. Not only would I view them in a certain super perfect way, but my emotional side would take over. I could feel this dopaminergic, I don't know if it's dopamine, oxytocin, one of them shits, right? It will start firing off. And in that happening, that will completely skew my perception. So I could go from a nice, calm, logical person to like all of a sudden, the fact that I'm feeling this high is the rose-colored shades are coming onto this weird projection that I have with this person, and I don't even know who they are. And that's the thing. It's almost like an addiction or something. I can still remember thinking to myself, I don't want to lose this person. And the craziest part is, when I reflect back on it, like right now, as I'm thinking back about it, it's like, how bizarre is it that I don't want to lose somebody that I don't even actually know? Like, it's just, but the thing is, in the heat of the moment, it doesn't feel that way. It's only after the fact. Once the little part of the brain that's, firing off or whatever, is nice and calmed down, then I can be all more rational. Like, whoa, what's just happened? And I'll tell you what, here's like a telltale sign. I don't know if I just said that right, but here's like a good sign that, well, hey, how do you know that I'm doing that? Or like, hey, I got a question. Like, how can I tell on my own? Like, let's say you're wondering, how can I tell if I'm doing that too? Well, simple. This is, I think, in my opinion, the litmus test, right? As you're listening to this person that you think you might be putting up on the pedestal, right? That you might be seeing as completely perfect and all this stuff. As they're talking to you and whatnot, as they're interacting, as you guys are discussing things, Is there like a particular thing that they say or don't say that suddenly makes you view them like in this like black and white motherfucking switch of a flip or flip of a switch? Meaning like 1 second like they're like the best thing ever, and then the next you almost feel like they've let you down or something. If you get like a sense of that, you might be doing that. You might, the way you think, might be doing that love bombing behavior. And the problem with that is, it's literally a made up version of them that you have in your head. It's not even them. That's the thing. It's not them. If the way that you operate and you think is such that you have a thing to love bomb, there's a good chance that when you get upset at the fact that they're not measuring up to whatever image you built up in your head, you're getting upset at that image you've made up. You're not actually getting upset at the actual person, but it doesn't feel that way. Oh, see, that's the catch. It doesn't feel that way. It feels like they've really let you down. But why is that? Why does it feel like they've let you down? You don't even know them. Let's pause for a second. You don't even actually know them. You feel like you know them. It feels that way, right? And I understand because I felt that myself. But when you step back for a bit and really kind of think about it, think it through, you don't actually know them. And then when that makes sense, and then you actually do try to talk to actually learn about them, every single thing that doesn't fit that preconceived idea that you've elevated to the fucking sky, now it starts to kind of get at you. You're like, you almost start to like try to argue them away from that thing which you don't like about them so that they can then change into that which you do like. But again, that doesn't make any sense because now you're changing them. And if you're changing them, do you like them for them? Or do you like them when they take on forms of you so that you feel comfortable? You know, this is where it starts to get really weird. And when you pause to think about it, this is what I've done, by the way. This is thinking through that I've done on my own that I'm now sharing because it might help you right now. Because I'm telling you right now, so for me personally, right? So last year, at the time, my girl at the time broke up with me. I'm telling you, at a logical level, I knew that this is what was going on, but there was this massive denial. I mean, massive denial. One of the first things that I realized during the grieving process is that I actually didn't really have much of a grieving process, because when I would feel an urge to grieve and cry about, oh my God, she's leaving me and all this stuff, I actually paused a few times and I'm like, wait a minute, I never got to know her. Like every time she would actually try to dialogue, not all the time, but I would say like a good 70% of the time, something she would say would not be in line with whatever made up version I had of her in my head. And as she would say something, I would then, that would make me feel uncomfortable because it's like, no, I want you to be this way because that's who I envision you to be. Okay, right? And in turn, I would then start an argument. It wasn't like me consciously making this deliberate choice. I am going to argue you into what I imagine you to be. Like, no. It was more like I would go in there questioning whatever she just said in the hopes that in the questioning she would see something closer to how I see it, and then in turn she would then change into, based on her thinking through what I'm questioning, that maybe she might think, oh, you know what, your way makes more sense, I'm actually going to adopt that, right? And that way she could change and I don't have to do any work on myself, because if I don't have to work on myself, then hey, I'm fine. There's nothing wrong with me, right? There's no inner work to do. I'm not broken. Maybe that person is, right? It's like a shift. There's this really weird shift of responsibility, inner work responsibility. I'm at a point now where I'm extremely comfortable talking about this, but the primary reason I'm talking about this isn't so much just so I can just, share it and be like, hey, look, I'm so comfortable. Look at me. I'm just, look how brave I am. No, it's because in me hearing testimonies and stories, it has helped me, which in turn, something tells me is this might help you. That's part one. But part two is to say that if you resonate and you're like, yeah, me too. Oh my God, I do feel that too. Man, I'm not going to admit it like you can right now, but yeah, me too. Okay, cool. That's progress. If you can see that, that's good. Now, step two to that You got some work to do. You got some work to do. You got some work to do. And if you're interacting with me directly, and if you kind of know it, if deep down you resonate, you can bet your ass I can see it. I don't say this from a place of judgment. I say this from a place of, because I've been there, I want to help. I want to help. But you have to be willing to accept the help. You have to be willing to. Because if not, I don't see how change is possible, basically. So that's all I got for now. And I'm actually got this meal going on over here. Hold on. So this is what I got so far. I got some honey nut squash, some of this, and I'm gonna get this cracking, and then let's see how this meal goes.